recently I was listening to this sort of like, how to explain, like it was almost like a philosophical idea, and that was parting from the premise that maybe we add the most value to fixing something by doing nothing. And I think part of the process behind it is if you think about how many times in history we've had revolutions, and that all these revolutions were convinced that they were going to fix things, that they were going to set everything right, and then when they got into power, they were going to change the world and fix things. And look at where the world is. That where did those things really take us? And then maybe had we not acted on them, which I think in some senses mean, have we also not been a part um, of those things in any way, um, might have led us somewhere that is more kind of like true to us. And I feel like I don't really understand why, but something about this idea really resonates with me. And one of the ways in which I've been thinking about it is from the perspective of, for example, nature. That from our perspective, it doesn't seem like nature's really doing anything. When tigers aren't really out there trying to figure out how to come up with the next biggest app. The monkeys aren't out there, don't seem to be out there trying to figure out how it is that they're gonna own the whole jungle. That in a sense, nature's just doing nature things. And I guess I'm sort of like going through the exploration of, yeah, but what does that mean for us? Like, because I think there's something in a sense like really scary about the idea of doing nothing, like especially when it comes to things of that we associate with social action. So um, things like social uprisings and protests and all these things, that it sounds to us like if we do nothing, then those people win. That if we have um, a company, say, or a government that's doing shit that we don't enjoy and we don't speak up to it, then we're doing, and we don't do something, that those people are going to be there forever. And I think it all has to really do with our lack of foresight, like our lack of ability to see where the future is going to lead, that we have trouble um, accepting the idea that things will happen without us having to interfere for them to happen. That we're convinced that the world doesn't spin unless we're the ones pushing the lever for it to spin. Um, and I don't know. I feel like I have, like, in a sense, like conflicting thoughts on that, um, because I do feel, and I have experienced a significant amount of times throughout my life, that sometimes I'm not actively pushing towards getting somewhere, or like actively pushing towards getting recognized by a certain group of people and certain things, but the things just kind of happen. They just happen naturally because I wasn't. It almost feels like because I wasn't thinking about it, I wasn't getting in my own way of succeeding in those ways. And so I'm it's kind of like one of the things that I'm currently exploring. It is that um, if it is a thing where it's sort of like a spectrum in which in certain ways we need to flow, but in other ways we need to um, push, where's the line? Like, where's the line truly? Or is it a thing where, if we kind of like lay back and ride the wave will take us places. And I guess looking at it from that perspective, maybe where I stand at this moment is that there's a huge component of things unfolding before us when we stop getting out of our own ways, when we kind of like allow the world to flow through us and to manifest, and for things to show up. But there's a personal component of being able to notice those things, being able to notice the things that are happening around us and appreciating them, that helps those things happen more often, or happen in a way that we can be sort of like grateful for, that we can even like notice that are happening. So I think in part I'm sharing this with you guys to kind of like hear what kind of comes to mind. What are the examples of maybe ways in which you can think of both ends. And if you're absolutely convinced that things won't happen unless you take action, I'm intrigued to hear in what ways, like what would the world need to look like in order for it to be a world that in order for it to be a world in which we are okay letting things unfold as they are, and we're okay with accepting that yeah, I wonder if what this all comes down to is just our fear of the unknown, our fear that if we don't do something, we're gonna fuck shit up. But then at the same time, we seem to be doing a lot, and we seem to also kind of be fucking shit up by our own metrics and understandings. So I don't know. Definitely, I feel like an interesting thing to continue to explore and to see how it sort of unfolds, especially with all the things going on everywhere in the planet right now. But yeah, what value can we get from doing nothing, and how is doing nothing any different from what nature's doing, and what can we learn from that?